Awesome. Okay, so first of all, I want to briefly share about myself. So my name's Logan. You can see I'm wearing a sparkly bow tie today. I thought I'd wear it for the webinar. Now, my passion is very much in creative business. I sort of believe that business can be a creative process as well. And these days I actually work with people who are creatives and I help them to grow their own businesses. So most of the people I work with are very much in the visual creative space: graphic designers, illustrators, fine artists, surface designers, muralists, photographers, videographers, in that space there. My original background is that I actually did a master's in entrepreneurship. So I did a business degree because I wanted to learn more about this business stuff. And I thought, oh, that'll be very interesting to learn. So that was what I did my master's in. And then I went on to create a creative entertainment company that I ran for 11 years. And that's where I really learned a lot about creative business and creative business principles as well. And during that time period of running that business that I took New Zealand wide and had a whole team and built it up, I also got involved in a bit of teaching. So I've always had this passion for sharing and teaching, building community. And I ended up getting involved in university programs, particularly in New Zealand. You probably recognize I'm a Kiwi from New Zealand. The accent. However, just a side note, I'm actually in Mexico City right now. So those of you that may know my friend Kat Cocolette, I'm a bit like her as well. I travel full time, base myself in different cities around the world. I do spend a good amount of time in New Zealand as well. But yeah, that's kind of part of how I live and work and run my business as well. So anyway, sort of going back, my passion was very much in the education space as well. So next to my creative business, I got involved in working with universities, running creative business programs, and really helping people to take their ideas further. I started doing some mentoring, some coaching, working with other different programs, and then I started the retreats. So some of you may have heard of the volcano retreats and also the entrepreneur retreats that I have been running. Obviously a little bit quieter during the pandemic, retreat-wise, but my friend Cash and I just ran a retreat a couple of months ago, and we're currently planning some more retreats, which is exciting, in May, June next year. Haven't been officially announced, but they will be announced in the next couple of months, both with Cash and with another really good friend, Terry, as well. So I'm really excited about the retreats coming together as well. Outside that, I've got this Creative Business Accelerator that I'm going to share more about with you. It's a group program, and then I work with people one-on-one. So I have a whole bunch of creative clients that I work with one-on-one at any given time, which is fantastic. And I really love being able to connect in that way. So look, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just share a little bit more about the plan for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be just connecting with you all, sharing a bit more about myself like I have. I'm going to share a bit more about the Creative Business Accelerator that starts next week. And then I'm going to get into questions. So if you've got any creative questions beyond that as well. Now, this next part here, I'm going to fly through it because look, there's lots of great information on the website around the program. And obviously, if you have any questions around it, you can also fire them in the chat as well. But just before I get that underway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share in the chat here the page, because there's a ton of info you can check out on that as well, whether it's now or after the call. So basically this program, it's called the Creative Business Accelerator, and it runs for 8 weeks starting next week. Okay, so it starts on Monday, the 8th of November. The first live workshop is actually on Tuesday next week. So the course itself, it consists of 8 weeks of creative business workshops. And basically it's these 8 important areas of creative business that you need to learn and level up in. So this program, it's something that I have run a number of times now, and as I said, visual creatives join this program. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through what the 8 weeks are about, because basically it's an 8-week program where I cover these different areas of creative business. So I'm just going to kind of fly through them and then give you a little bit more info about the amazing course as well. So week 1 is all about goal setting, right? So one of the big things I see is a lot of people in creative business, they're not that great at goal setting, when I'm honest. And part of it is that they don't really know how, no one's ever shown them. They don't really know what's possible within a creative business. So I really run through a workshop. It's a 90-minute workshop, and our 90-minute workshops every week, every Tuesday. There's 2 streams you can choose from to join. So that first week, the 90-minute workshop is on goal setting and planning. And really understanding what you need and want as well. And that's a really amazing part of the process, is going, okay, well, what do I want out of this creative business? whether or not, some people that join, they're just starting, they haven't made any money, but they've got this creative skill and they want to grow that and turn it into a business. Others have been running a business for a bit in the early stage, but they're like, oh, I really want to make this work. And then there's always people who join who are further along as well. And that's all part of it too. We get to people at different stages during the program. Into week 2, we get into business fundamentals. Business fundamentals are kind of an interesting one because people are like, oh, that sounds really boring. And part of it is taking you through in that 90-minute session, a whole lot of things that you need to think about and need to learn to really take things forward. So I kind of take you through it and you go, cool, tick, tick, tick. Okay, I need to do that. Everything from thinking about legal stuff, thinking about business setup, accounting setup, all of these kind of a bit more bland and boring things. But once again, it's done in a bit of a fun and creative way. So it is quite an interactive session as well. Into week 3, I go over products and services and get you really thinking about how can you expand what you do. So you've probably heard this idea of like diversifying your offering. It's a really important thing. And I sort of see 2 ends. One end is that people have kind of like one offering, 1 or 2, and they need to have other offerings that maybe they need to help to work out what they could be. At the other end, people have got so many ideas they don't know what to focus on. So I really give you some ways to think about that and help you take action and decide on what to focus on. So a big part of this course is about taking action. Every week I'm there going, right, action, what's the actions? Write down the actions. Because yes, it's great to learn. We love learning. There's lots of information online these days to learn, but you need to take the action. And this gives you really specific actions to take as well, which is really important. I talk about bread and butter. So bread and butter is like, what is the core thing that's going to make the most of your money? You need to work out what that is. It may take you a while to work out, and that's okay. The other thing I talk about is MVP, which is like mini, tiny products, and then premium offers. So I really run you through what these things look like and how you could use them for what you're doing as well. Into week 4, financial planning. And it's like business plan, financial plan, and most people go like, oh, that week, oh my god, maybe I should skip that week, right? So every session is recorded. So some people, if you miss a session because you can't make the timing, it's recorded. People often watch it later. You've got the recordings for long term as well. This is a week that people do, they attend, and then afterwards they say that was one of the best weeks of the course. And the reason is because it's a tough subject, but I do it in a way that makes it much easier. I've got an amazing template. I run you through and really take you through these things. And this is the sort of stuff that I wish someone taught me when I started my first creative business, right? So yes, I learned a lot during my entrepreneurship masters and it was great. There was a whole host of other things that I've had to learn. I had to learn the hard way over a 10-year period, 10-year plus period. So, I often say, hey, these are the things that I wish someone taught me. And that's why I'm teaching you them now, which is great. On to week 5, it's about pricing. Okay, so pricing is an interesting one because everyone I know, all the people I work with one-on-one, all the people that join my programs, they struggle with this. Pricing is a tough subject, and I'm sure those of you that are here have gone, yep, I know it's tough. And first week, during that week of the course, I actually share one of the first slides. It says, there is no mathematical formula for pricing your products and services. And people are like, no, we thought you were going to give us the formula, Logan, the secret. But actually what I do is I take you through some principles and ways to think about within your business, and then help you think about the pricing specifically. Honestly, a lot of people underprice. That's a really common thing, but it's not as straightforward as just increasing your prices. There's other things you need to think about as well, and I'll take you through them during week 5 of the course. On to week 6, social media. The importance of social media, as we know, absolutely, it's really important. It's a marketing tool, it's a sharing tool, but it's also really challenging. And we all kind of have a love-hate relationship with social media, right? It's like, oh, and the algorithms and things changing. So I really take you through the key things that you need to know and think about, and also help you get some action items and plans in place around how you can use social media as well. And that week's a great week. I really enjoy that week because at that point, everyone's sort of connecting more during the program as well with each other. So I'll talk more about that at the end, but there is this great community element too. On to week 7, I talk about partnerships. Partnerships are really important in business, and often we overlook them. A lot of people in creative businesses are by themselves, right? Maybe it's just you. But you can still partner up with other people and collaborate. You can do lots of things together, whether it's collaborating on your offerings or jumping on social media together or supporting each other in different ways. Collaborations and partnerships are really important and often overlooked. So I really take you through how you can focus on that, and also how you can connect and even network with others in a natural way. So it's not going to feel like, oh, networking. Oh, people struggle with that part, but I really take you through how you can do that in an authentic and natural way as well. Final week of the course, week 8. Now, week 8 is actually right at the end of the year. It's literally between Christmas and New Year. Don't worry, we don't have any calls on Christmas or New Year's Eve, but the program does run right up to the end of the year. So week 8 is marketing and sales. And I kind of almost say, I think we should almost need to rebrand marketing and sales like sharing, right? Because there's a lot of blocks there. Often when we just say marketing and sales, a lot of people who have creative businesses or want to start creative businesses, they're like, oh, that stuff's horrible, it's icky. But actually, it can be done in authentic ways. It can be done in ways that, it feels natural as well. And yes, you've got to push boundaries and learn things too. But that's a great week where I take you through a lot of those things that you need to know to take things forward as well. So that's the 8 weeks. And the way I often talk about it is, this is a great way to end the year, right? So we're coming towards the end of the year. We've just got a couple of months left. You want to prepare for the best 2022 possible, right? So this is a great thing you can do to build that foundation. So you running into 2022 with 5 steps ahead. You've learned a whole lot of things. You've connected with a whole lot of people. You've taken some actions on your creative business. And a lot of people I talk to that join this program, they've either already joined or they're thinking of joining, they often say that, it's a real struggle, trying to grow my business. I've been trying to do it myself. I've been trying to learn things online, and they've done all right. They've learned some stuff. They've been on Skillshare, but really what they're looking for is taking things further. There's this mixture of like excitement, but frustration. Like they're frustrated that they're like, oh, I'm missing some stuff. And that's part of what this program is about. It's an accelerator. That's where the word accelerator comes from. Is look, in the end, you could not do a program like this and you can learn stuff. There's lots of information online, but the problem is, it's a bit of a mess. What do you learn first? And also, as we know, it's, we don't commit to those things, right? Yeah, find things online, but actually when we've all had that knowledge already, why are we not doing it, being able to do it? So this is really a commitment that helps you prepare for next year as well. And people find that really good, particularly, as last program, 2 programs ago was a similar time period as well. And it helps you prepare for that next year to make the most of it, because you're, rather than being frustrated, it's going, this is a way to accelerate things. So in that 8 weeks, you achieve what may take you a year otherwise. And you might be like, oh, another year, I don't think I can do it for another year, I'm going to give up. So this is really about going, if you're serious about what you want to do, whether it's, quit your day job, whether it's just grow this as a side income, whatever that is, this is a really great opportunity to have that commitment as well. And I mentioned before, community is a part of it. So often people say, look, I joined for the content. I love Logan's energy. I want to learn these different things, the different pieces of content area. I want to take action. I want to have this commitment. Then they're really surprised at how amazing the community element of it is. So what I do is during the course, I help people connect in different ways. We've got the chat. Chat's very, very active. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of discussion happening in the chat on the Zoom calls. So on those 90-minute Zoom calls each week. And then there's other things. There's a Facebook group that people are asking questions and connecting in. I also have some other really cool things called virtual cuppers, which is where they're like basically like a live networking fun kind of thing where we jump on these extra calls and you can connect with other like-minded creative business owners on the course, which is really cool. It's an optional extra part of the course that a bunch of the people join. Usually about half the people can make those, which is really cool. And then separate to that, I connect people up with creative buddies. You'll partner up with someone else in the course, which is super cool. And look, it's pretty spread, but about 80% of the participants come from across Europe and the States and the US. And then outside of that, 20% all over the world. So, pretty spread, pretty varied, which is really cool. So you actually get to connect with these different people at different stages within their journey and at different locations, but they're all in that visual creative space. And once again, people are surprised. They go, wow, I didn't expect the community element to be so powerful and so important. So I've seen from the previous programs, people are still connected. They're still helping each other. We've got a WhatsApp group. There's a WhatsApp group of people that are still catching up. They jump on Zooms, they hang out, they help each other out, they boost each other up, which is fantastic. And I really love that because running your own thing can be really, it can be pretty hard, right? You're like by yourself, you're not sure what to do. So building a community around you of like-minded people that get it is super duper important. So a really powerful thing within that too. So look, obviously I've run you through things there, pretty briefly, but if you do check out their website that I've shared in the chat there, also through my links, I'm sure you're seeing it everywhere now anyway, on Instagram and things like that. The actual program itself, basically signups close Friday midnight, which is Central Time, so Central US time. So really it's starting on Monday. and then it'll be running for those 8 weeks. And I'm just really briefly going to share a little bit more about the pricing, right? Because you might be like, oh, okay, like this is an investment, right? This is an accelerator investment. So the actual program itself, basically there's three things you can choose from. The first thing is called the essentials, which is basically the accelerator, everything I've run you through there. And you can check this out on the page. It's $379 US. It's the price there. And then you've got another one called the Essentials Plus, which basically contains a couple of extra things. The main extra thing is that it has a one-on-one deep dive with me, because some people, they really want that personal extra session. And that's something that obviously normally, I do this with clients one-on-one. I have one-on-one clients I work with long-term. I don't do one-off calls normally, but as part of the program, I do offer one of them if you want that extra support. And usually they're done like halfway through the program. Some people do it after the program. And then the other offering is basically, we call it the premium package, which is really about more support calls during the program as well. And you can even do them before or after the program as well. So the actual program itself is something that you can choose which one. And look, in terms of which one, if you're going, hey, like I'm excited about this, I just don't know which one to choose. About 80% of people do the essentials, and then the other 20% choose one of the other two. But if you want extra support, then you can get that as well within those extra things. And there's a couple of other extra kind of cool bonuses within that. So obviously this program itself, as I mentioned, signups do close on this Friday. So we've only got a few days, but really it's about going, hey, this is a commitment for this time. Now, feel free to post if you've got any burning questions in the chat about the program. Maybe you've got questions around the timing or what it looks like, things like that. Feel free to just chuck something in the chat around that. As I mentioned, the core call times, the main workshop is every Tuesday. It depends on your time zone. Those workshops, there's 2 streams, so you can pick and choose which one. It's at midday and 7 p.m. Central US time, but I'm saying that because we have people attending from all over the world. And if you go to the website, you can actually click and find out what it is in your time zone, or do a bit of a conversion within that. So, and the reason I have those 2 streams is that, look, a lot of people do join from, the sort of Europe and US. So I really wanted to have time zones that suit them, but also elsewhere in the world. So there's always at least one time zone that you would be awake for, which is part of it. And you might even be awake for 2 time zones. Obviously, if you're in the US or in Canada or in, this time zone here, then that's great, because you get to choose, do I want to do it during the day? Do I want to do it at 7 p.m? And what people sometimes do is they switch between. So you can choose each week. And as I mentioned, life comes up occasionally. They're all recorded, which is good. So you can get that. And apparently recordings, they feel like you're live there anyway. So for some reason that can happen. That's totally cool as well. So look, obviously anything, just share it in the chat there if there's any questions. Now, what I really want to do soon is I'm going to be sharing a bit more about some creative business tips and answering questions as well. All right, so what kind of time would you say you need to dedicate beyond watching the streams weekly? I love that question. Okay, this is a really good point. So I designed this program for people that are super busy, right? Most people that join this program, they either have full-time jobs, or they're looking after family, or they've got other commitments. Some people are really busy with their businesses already, people that are further along. Some people are just starting. And what I usually say is, outside of the calls, it's good to commit like 2 to 3 hours on top of the calls across the week if you can, right? Look, if you can do more, great. And it's a matter of what you include, but really, if those actions that I set, they're things that can be done over 2 to 3 hours. And look, some people have had a hectic week and they didn't get to all the actions, but it's good. Accountability, we still celebrate them able to take some of the actions, which is good. There's a lot of support on this program. But that's a really good question, because I designed it as a program that is for people that are busy, because one of the things people say is, oh yeah, I'll join this when I've got more time and when I'm ready. And one of the things I often say to them is like, yeah, I totally respect and get that. When are you going to have more time? Are you ever going to be ready? Right. So this is a program that helps you get ready. Right. That's a really good way to think about it. And I often sometimes say to people, I say, that's cool. Like, when were you hoping to be ready by? And they're like, I've been trying to get ready for the last year. And it's like, okay, well, a program like this gets you in a position where you can take those steps forward, because I know how hard it is, right? I've run my own businesses for years. I actually started my own first business when I was 17, amazingly. And then I had my own creative businesses for years as well. And now I coach people really closely. And I know the challenges that can be there in trying to find time to do things, but it is a commitment. And it's really about putting that time aside and making it work, right? Making it work, because you're going, hey, this is your life. This is your dream that you want to take forward as well. Making it work in that time period. Love that question. Do pop any other questions in there as well. But I think it's just, it's really important to think, hey, time, it's not always going to feel like it's the right timing. And I think it's a really interesting one. I actually shared this really cool quote, I think yesterday, which was basically all about this idea of being ready, right? And the quote actually is, making an effort in the right direction will bring you more inspiration as you push forward. Okay, and the idea there is to really get you thinking about this. We wait for motivation, we wait to be ready, we wait for inspiration to show up. Okay, like I'll do these epic things in my life. I'll start my business, I'll grow my business when I'm ready, when motivation's there. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, not today because I'm not feeling motivated, I'm not feeling particularly inspired, I'm not going to do it. What I found working with a lot of people and running my own businesses, it doesn't just show up like that. You've got to start, right? And as I'm going to say, just start somewhere. Arguably start in any direction. Just start. Even if it's imperfect action. I love that. But start moving. And what happens is you get motivated from moving. You think about, you get that momentum. It's kind of like a big boulder, right? That boulder ain't going to start pushing by itself. Yes, when you start pushing, it's going to be hard. You're not going to have the motivation or the inspiration to push it. But once you get it rolling, it gets some momentum and it gets easier, right? And then you can build and grow your business within what you're doing. The other thing I'll add, and I haven't mentioned this yet, but there's some really cool mindset parts to the course as well. So I've got these 8 mindset videos. They're pre-recorded. Basically what they are is they're an extra thing that I post in the group each week. And it's really getting you thinking about, well, how do you develop and grow your confidence and mindset? Because it's great learning skills and upgrading all of that, but actually often mindset is behind these challenges that we have. We talk about limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are the things that stop us from taking things forward. It's things we believe that may be wrong, maybe stopping us from taking action. So, I'm quite passionate about that subject as well. And hence why that's another piece of content that I have in the course. And I also just mentioned, some of you, I'm not sure if some of you might know Kat Coke here, or you might have connected through here. So Kat is a really good friend of mine. We've collaborated a lot on business things in the past. We just ran a retreat together in France a couple of months ago. Now Kat has been super generous, and she's actually giving as a bonus this really cool workshop on building licensing and partnerships within creative businesses. So this is a pre-recorded workshop that she did. I actually was on board with that as well. So we're going to be sharing that as like a bonus for the program, because she was just like, hey, I'd love to like contribute something. There's quite a few people from her audience that join as well. So she very kindly added that as well. There we go. I love it. Gonna ask about the mindset, but just don't need to know now. Yeah, and look, it is so important as well. Any other questions, pop them in there. Look, as we sort of move on now, if you've got other questions around the program, creative business, me, anything you want to know, fire it into the chat. I always love having random questions pop up. Like, what is holding you back right now? What is the thing that you're wondering? What is it that you need to take things forward? See if you can think of a question that you can fire into the chat, and I'll address that as we go. And then of course we'll wrap things up at some point too. But I just want to share a couple other thoughts around creative business in general, and then if any questions pop up, I can share them as well. My background in creative business is, I've been doing this for quite a long time, and it's really interesting because I see trends, right? So at the moment, I have 25 one-on-one clients that I work with. I either have a 1-hour call with them fortnightly or monthly. And these clients there, I've been working with them quite a long time, 3 to 6 months. Some of them I've worked, as mentioned, Kathleen and Sienna, that were mentioned earlier on. I'm both working, they did a 6-month package initially, and then they signed up for another year of coaching. I get to see trends. So yes, I've had my own creative businesses. I also get to see the trends that are happening across other people's creative businesses. And this is part of what I share in my coaching, right? As well as on the courses, is what are these things that are people missing? What are these challenges that pop in? What are the things that people are overlooking? And it's always fascinating. So, I mentioned, even during week 3 of the course, I talk about how do we diversify what we're doing. And I really take you through a very specific model of getting you thinking about how to do that. And we even get numbers down, right? Some of you here might be like, oh, numbers, I hate numbers. This is a really great way to bring your business to life in a really creative way, is we put numbers down and go, okay, I'm like, well, if you did do that, how many things would you sell? Like, what could that look like? What should we price it at? They're like, I don't know. And we take you through that part, which is really good. And often what I'm helping even my one-on-one clients with is, how do they diversify? How do you create some different offering streams, whether they're products, whether they're services? Because often you do need to do that. Another thing that I see is people misunderstand the importance of experimentation in their creative business. We're kind of looking for the rule book, right? We're looking, tell us what to do and we'll do it, right? And then you imagine, right? Yeah, give me the book, Logan. I'll do it. I'm willing to do it. Just tell me what, right? But the reality is that it's different for everyone. It's different for every place. Yes, some things work, some things don't. Part of it is you need to try things, right? So yes, there's a book of lots of different stuff you can do, but part of it for you is just giving it a go and go, okay, well, I was just on an Instagram live earlier with my friend Terry, and I haven't really run many Instagram lives before, but I was like, let's give it a go. I'm not quite sure how we're going to manage it, and I figured out what I could with it. But it's just not a promotional medium that I've really used that much. I've done a lot of stuff on Zoom for years, but I haven't used that medium. Experimented, and some things work out, some things don't. But I think often there's a fear of experimentation. You're like, oh, I want to make sure it's perfect, right? I want to get it right, because otherwise I don't want to do it, and I want to look silly. I don't want to try using social media and get it wrong, right? The reality is you need to put that foot forward. You need to give it a go. You need to try these things out, and you'll learn as you go, right? Everyone's first post on social media or on a new platform is not that great, right? I'm not saying it's rubbish, but it's not that great. I know people who like, yeah, 2 years later, they like archive some of their earlier posts. I've done that a little bit as well. But they had to do those first posts. You have to take those first steps to get further, right? You can't just jump to the next floor. You've got to go through those early things. And yeah, sometimes it's not that perfect and then they're not that great, but you're doing your best. So look, I think that principle, that's something I see a lot of. Part of what I do through the Creative Business Accelerator, and also through the actual my coaching as well, one-on-one coaching I do with people, is I'm a cheerleader, right? So one of my clients was saying to me the other day, like, Logan, you need to get some pom-poms, right? They're cheerleader pom-poms, so you can be a bit of a cheerleader, because that is part of my role, is to support people and encourage people. And I think about the one-on-one calls I have, I have multiple calls a week. I'm supporting them, I'm encouraging them. They're running experiments. It's scary, it's hard. Maybe they're not sure if it's going to work out. And I'm there going, hey, this is good. Here, we can tweak this here. How about you do this? And I support them, because I support them. My one-on-one clients, I actually support between the calls as well via WhatsApp, which is great. But I think it is being the cheerleader. So this is my new cheerleader thing. I don't have, here we go, it's got the blur. I don't have pom-poms, but I do have some really cool little ceramic emojis that I thought you would all like to see. So look, I think fun in business is important. And one of the reasons in week 1 of the accelerator that I really dive into needs and goals is that you do not want to build just another job for yourself. Right, that's a really important thing. It's very easy to fall into this world, this place where you're suddenly doing this thing that you're just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm just working like a ton, and it's just hard, and it's long hours, and I'm doing stuff I don't want to be doing. It's really important to identify what you actually want to be doing, and what is the lifestyle you want to build. So, a lot of my clients I work with one-on-one, I really encourage them to, once they get out of that day job, if that's what they want to do, can they run their business 4 days a week? Right? Can they do a 4-day work week rather than 7 days or 5 days? Because a lot can still be achieved in 4 days, and then they get these amazing times. They can have more time with friends, family, etc. Yes, there's always exceptions. Hey, I occasionally work on a Friday as well, because I'm sure this Friday I'll be very busy, because it's the final day of the program launch, sharing, getting everyone on board. But in general, I think it's really important to think about, what are the lifestyle factors you want to build as well. You can see, for me, I identified a number of years ago that I really wanted to be able to travel, but also be serious about business. I don't want to just be have my laptop on a beach. Like I still work a lot, especially during the week, but I'm here in Mexico City. Over the weekend, I was able to have, be part of the Day of the Dead celebrations and hang out with some great friends here. And that was fantastic. And then I've got my great office set up here, which is amazing, in an apartment. But for me, that's really important. For you might be like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. I want to do that too. Therefore, you can think about, how can you build your business towards that? It takes time, absolutely. Or you might be like, oh no, I don't want to do that. That sounds like a nightmare, like moving city every month, right? And I'm like, well, you don't have to move every city every month. I just decide to. But some people go, no, I just want more time with family. I want to express myself creatively. I want to, some people say to me, Logan, I just want to get out of this day job. I hate it so much. I really want to do my creative thing. I want to share. And, I know I've got these creative skills, and I'm still working them, still growing them. But people seem to like my stuff, but I'm struggling with how to share it, how to grow it. And that's obviously where I come in with that creative business experience and background as well. Awesome, team. So as you can imagine, I can keep talking about this stuff for hours and hours and hours, and sometimes I do. Look, if you've got any points, questions, things you want to know, just post them in the chat. And otherwise we'll wrap up soon. But I really want to share. Look, have a look at the Creative Business Accelerator. It is a fantastic program. What I'm going to share with you, since you joined the call, and if you join the call, you're an action taker, or even for people that signed up, there was a few more people that signed up. I'm going to share a link, which is basically $30 off, just because it's cool to be able to have a little week gift here as well. So I'll share that link. If you're feeling good about it, grab this link, jump on the accelerator within that. So let me just grab that link for you. I will send an email afterwards, just to you as well. But look, if you're like, this feels good, I'm excited, it's feeling great, jump on that there. Now, the program itself, if you're going, just not sure, I've got these other questions, just send me an email, just ask me, right? And obviously ask connections as well. So Deputy, for example, talk to Sienna and Kathleen about it. They've had a really great experience of what's involved. And just say, hey, would this work for me? They know the content as well. Maybe there's someone else, for others that have joined this call, that you might know other people that have been a part of this program in the past. Ask them. There's also some cool feedback on the website itself. Cool. So I'm just answering that question there. Would you say this program is good to set someone up to get out of the rut of being in day jobs, but not having a lot of time and moving into freelancing more? Would you say this program is good to set? Yeah, so it depends on specifics. Do you want to just share briefly about like what you're doing? Like, what is the kind of the area? Like, are you in graphic design? Are you in illustration? Like, are you in sort of fine art? Because there's short answers and long answers. I'd love to give you a good answer around that. So maybe just share something briefly there around that, because I think the way I set up the program is that it's actually relevant to a lot of different people. And I've kind of had some people join the program who aren't actually even in the visual creative space, and they've still got a ton out of it, because there is still applicable things there. To an extent, there's a lot of businesses that have a really big creative part within it, but this program is really geared towards creatives, particularly visual creatives. And I know one of the things people do say is they're like, I haven't even started, Logan. Is this too far ahead for me? This is actually perfect for people that are at that really early stage. Probably about a third of people that join this program haven't made any money with their creativity yet. Maybe they've tried to put some things out there and they just struggle. They don't know what to do. Another third are like making $100 to $200 per month, right? And they're like, oh, this is a chip change. Sometimes I get $30, sometimes I get $100, but how do I grow this? I want to get out of my day job. And then there's a third that are like further along. Maybe they've been doing this for a year or two. Some people are already full-time on it. There's people that are further along, and really it's often the people that get the most impact from it are probably the people that are actually in the first 2/3. The other third, they love it because they get the energy and motivation behind it as well to move forward. Awesome. I love it. It's so cool that you do sculpture and fine arty things as well. You're an illustrator. That's fantastic. Yeah. So look, to be honest, a lot of people that join the course and also work with me one-on-one, they do actually have freelancing as part of what they do. That's like one of their revenue streams. And freelancing is really good because it's actually a really good way to often get out of that day job, because you can do freelance kind of contract type work, and you might not want to do it long term, right? You might be like, oh, I want to do that for a while, and then I want to move into these other areas. But yeah, absolutely. A lot of my clients, a lot of people that join the accelerator have, freelancing. And I think that's a great way. And then you've got people who then have other bits and pieces they do. So whether that's some sort of like licensing, print on demand, or they want to get into that space more. Some people have products, right? Some people have different things that they do. I also work with fine artists as well, so really cool that you've got that fine art side there too. So yeah, for where you're at, I think it's really well positioned. And once again, any questions that pop up, you can fire them in there, or just contact me as well. You can go through the website and just let me know any questions within that too. So as I've said, it's a powerful program. I'm really excited about getting underway. One of the things I love doing, as you can see, right, is I love being able to chat with people and facilitate the program. So, the energy is really good in this program. Interaction's also really good. So, people don't just sort of sit back, and I'm always saying, I don't want you to just sit back and be over here in the corner and I'll probably fade into the distance here. I really want you to be there, right? Leaning forward, even if you're too close to the camera, that's okay, because I want you leaning forward, engaged, taking notes, learning things, growing, taking actions as well, connecting with people, having conversations. The more you put into a course like this, the more you get out of it. That's like anything in life, right? And I think it's always interesting just seeing, I get to see what people do afterwards as well. And it's amazing. It's like they skip a few steps and then they're moving a lot quicker, which is great. Obviously, this is just part of the journey. Look, I'm not going to say you're going to do this course and suddenly you're going to quit your day job tomorrow and you're going to, be doing this and earning, thousands of dollars. This is part of the journey, right? And something that I recognized really early on is I took a lot of courses myself. I've got my own, I am a business coach, but I've got my own business coach as well, right? And that's part of what I have seen has taken me forward within what we do, because we often don't necessarily think about these things. We go, oh yeah, I'll figure it out myself, but it's hard, right? It's really hard to figure it out yourself. So, I think if you're considering joining the program, look, have a good look at the information. There's also a really fun video as well. I'm wearing actually not a bow tie. I think I've got my crazy red glasses in the video, and it's quite good because you actually get to see some people that share. Actually, Kathleen shares a little bit about it, Dipti, in that video, just about other people's perspective. And I even say there, I put on these glasses and say, yeah, I could talk all day about how great this thing is, but actually you need to hear from people that have done it. Right, because in the end, that's what matters, is what people get out of it. Hence why I share, some of the testimonials and feedback on the site, and have that great video as well. Awesome, team. It's been super lovely connecting with you all. We're going to wrap up in the next minute or so, but if there's any final burning questions, chuck them in there. But it's just been super cool. Thanks for showing up as well. And yeah, we've already had a bunch of people join up, which is amazing. I'm super excited. I'm always like, when people join up, I'm like, oh, where are they joining from? And I'm like following their Instagram and stuff. Oh yeah, there we go. So I'm always like interested to see where people will join from. So as I said, normally it's about 80% is people throughout Europe, literally throughout the whole of Europe, and the States and Canada, and then a big split. We usually get a few Kiwis and Aussies joining, but then literally all over the world. Last program we had someone in India, someone in Brazil, and some people in Asia. It was amazing, seeing people coming from different places as well. We had some people come from Kenya too. So I love that diversity, because it brings these different elements of people coming together and sharing their ideas as well, and contributing. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. So great to be on the call. Look, I will probably share this recording as well, but just I'm excited. And look, any questions you had, just share them through. You can put them on my social media, usual stuff on email, etc. But yeah, jump on board. As I said, look, use that little gift link if you can, for that just little $30 off each of the things. And then obviously, if you're going, hey, this looks cool, Logan's great, I don't want to do this, connect up, keep an eye on things, what I'm doing. I'll be doing more stuff. I've got retreats happening next year that we, may do another accelerator next year, we'll see. But yeah, it's just great to connect. I always love sharing about what I'm doing and hearing what other people are doing as well. Awesome, team. Thank you so much. Have an absolutely lovely day, morning, evening, depending on where you are. Take care.